Hi, Eural. This is for you. This is the replay from the clinic. That should be the speed. Okay, so this is mostly looking at what you're doing at this stage of the game and trying to get things moving forward. So, with instigators, one thing I need to mention, do try to keep them spread out. Don't let them clump up like that because their firing arcs are really bad in general when they get clumped up like that. Moving on. Get your commander repairing. Don't just leave it there, especially when you have missile trucks that need to start doing things. I think that you should probably stop considering making basic solars at this point, especially when you're trying to get advanced metal constructors going. And this should have waited if you could afford it, and you can, I think, in this case. With this, I know you should be reclaiming these resources. That's just because there was an attack coming in this way. That could have come in this way, I should say. And at least, now you're doing it. At least you would have gone back metal from that case. Now's the time that you want to start pumping out tigers because you have the metal for that. That's a lucky shot. Instead of tigers at this point in time, I would recommend switching over to just getting a few Quakers at this time. Right now, what you have is a very pressurable target right here and a very pressurable target right here. Blue just sent in a whole bunch of units into yellow, hoping that they might do something when they in fact didn't. So actually starting to apply pressure to this position would be beneficial, or even starting to consider this as a target rich environment is also beneficial as well. This turret right here probably should just be a little bit closer, like right about there. And the reason why you would want T2 vehicle artillery at this time is basically just because Tigers are not going to be able to do very much versus these turrets, and there's enough vehicle artillery to do a lot of other punishments. That's something that you'll do in a little bit. Moving on. I like what you're doing right here. One thing that I would recommend doing whenever you do this kind of scheme with your T1 cons, set your T2 constructor to low priority. Yes, it has 250 build power, but setting it to low priority means that this mechs won't be taking resources away from this mechs being completed. Okay, you're doing that. I would have recommended getting the solar for the nano chart from there. I would stop this constructor from doing work. And I would actually begin telling it to just simply reclaim all the solars they have. The basic solars, I should say. Once you get your Banisher online, this is true for both vehicle artillery and for the Banisher. Moving it a lot is not a solution. It's something that you should really be avoiding when possible. This is just throwing away Tigers for no good purpose. You're not going to be able to really pressure. Because remember, you're still on the defensive at this time, so you need to, because you have a whole bunch of Tigers, you're still on the defensive. You need to consider other attack vectors. And it's at this point right here, when you're starting to push really hard into the enemy, that you should be queuing up a air lab somewhere around here. This is because you're able to push this far into it. Just because you're going to be able to get that with ground use, that doesn't mean that they're going to live, especially with Tigers on low HP. Yeah. And the reason why you wouldn't want to go with air is that basically your front ground is actually really powerful and you don't need to worry about too many different enemies coming in. So yeah, things going from there. Out of the spot lab, I would recommend getting like a handful of runs just to do some scouting, just into this direction or even here, because I don't think you know about this yet. Yeah, you know that there's stuff there, but you don't know what it is. The ground state does need to go out and just be on a move order through an area. That'll be perfectly fine. I don't know if you have auto groups for vehicle artillery, but if they're on the same auto group as the Banisher, that needs to be changed. Banisher is much more fire and forget unit compared to T2 vehicle artillery, which is much more about its constant rate of fire. And at this point, because your T2 vehicle artillery isn't really doing very much over here, you should be prioritizing them in this direction. And just applying some amount of pressure because your ally here is going to fall. And it's a question of when, not if. So. Yeah. With this micromanager, I would recommend actually going around this way, instead of having the turnaround like that. This way you get more, you'll push yourself into more opportunities. So, and also you don't have to worry about the dreaded unit stopping. So. And one other thing to mention with the update, I would strongly recommend using Fight Command with units that you're not really micromanaging that much. Pillagers should be fixed at this time. Or sorry, Quackers. That's a nice shot. So I think that's everything at this point in time. Let me just fast forward a bit. With your tigers, you shouldn't really be trying to retreat at this time. You should just be trying to push in. There's almost nothing for you to, almost nothing to worry about. And that's the end of this match. Okay, let me move on to the next match and I will hopefully have a lot of things to go over. So. How long does it take for Skylobby to boot up? Is the question. I'm just doing this all at once, and hopefully it doesn't take very long. So. Okay. And let me just check if there's any notes real quick. Where are you? You should be... Okay. For starting build, your starting build order is fine. I'm just curious what you're going to be picking for first units. Oh, I forgot. Just in case if that's needed. Set fire with these units is actually quite important. You need to be focusing on specific missile trucks. But yeah, be careful of this hill. It's enough to block missile trucks. Yeah. You really shouldn't be too worried about this position right here with 8C. Really, you should be looking at yellow's position, trying to help here as much as possible. That's a good focus for. I don't think you should have gone up with yellow up here. I think you should have stayed right here. Energy storage, GM. Honestly, I would have told this con to go build these two mexes right here first, and then go back and do these four. So. I would or you don't really have that as an option. At this point in time, I would strongly consider giving all of your missile trucks to either yellow or soldier at this time. I would just keep your commander with yourself. I would recommend. That is a mistake. That's a rough bombing run. I really would recommend giving away the flat truck to someone, not trying to micromanage it. That's just because a person who's being bombed is going to know about where it needs to be better than you. So. And you're going straight with Mausers, okay. And again, this is an issue with T2 vehicle artillery. It really does not, you really do not want to be moving it. So the less it's moved, the better off you are. Just remember that T2 vehicle artillery cannot fire while going backwards. Sorry, you cannot fire backwards while moving forwards, so. And I think that's where most of your issues are coming from in this engagement. And you'll notice that with these Mausers right here, they're going to do a lot better just by not moving. With your missile trucks, I would strongly recommend reclaiming them or to switch to T1 for ticks. And you're doing that now. I would recommend doing this reclaim a little bit earlier. And get missile trucks out of the Mauser, out of this move auto group when you can. So. This I don't know what to think about. What are you going to be killing with it is important. This you don't make unless if you have a specific target in mind, like a factory or several mexes or turrets. Okay, good. You can, by the way, with these units, you can set target ground and they'll target that spot. I didn't see a reason for you to bring your units up, so... And now your units are in a position where they're not able to fire, and they're actually in a worse position in general now. This. You should have considered self-deing that. Your front, yeah, these units coming from the back should either be given to your allies or just saying they should not be pulled back for a back raid that's a handful of units. Now with that issue out of the way, honestly, I would recommend considering a second Merle. Just because you see a lot of these units, they're not moving. T2 vehicle artillery is best when it's not moving, and Merles are a really good counter in that case. So, if possible, start trying to figure out where to ground fire to that group. You should be considering bringing your res bots to the front, but that's about it. I would recommend bringing your vehicle artillery up here. That's just so that way the tick spam down here doesn't really factor into the automation. And with the Merle, I would probably consider moving it behind just right here. Just so that way you don't have to worry about pushes damaging the Merle. Remember that Merles can fire over in this case. With that being said, though, you would have to be worried about this push up here. Okay, good. You're bringing your res bots to the front. Why are you working on 2 fusions at once is a question. This is actually a really smart choice. However, did this have to be here? Could it be like somewhere right here? Okay. How much? That's not a bad play. I would have tried getting, knowing that you have another fusion coming up, I would actually would recommend having this build keep 2 converters back here where it's safer, and have one of these on low priority. These are on low priority. One nano would be on one of the converters, the other converter would be assisted by the rest. So that way you don't have to worry about getting all these T1 converters up front, which are quite dangerous and quite explosive. So There's that. Yeah, the energy for this. Oh yeah, we have 2 of those. Okay. You really need to get Jaguars going. So. Putting yours. That's a mistake with your Jaguars, by the way. Starlights are another unit. The less move, the better off they are. I would. Oh yeah, that's already. Yeah, this is something that needs to start doing work now. One of the other options I would probably recommend is one thing is I would recommend, by the way, is get 1 or 2 more of the 1 or 2 more Merles. Is just going to be useful in this case because there's a whole bunch of targets that are on the ground that are not moving, and Merles are really good at cleaning that stuff up. That wasn't a bad aim for the Juno's first shot. The second shot should probably be queued up right here. Yeah, there's a hidden jammer that you won't know about until you drive into it. And the radar here is what's keeping this player able to push into you. The other advantage with Merles is that occasionally, if you just fire into a spot where a mech should be, occasionally you might find things like clip mexes. I would not. I would not be producing pawns at this time. No need. And this is a mistake. I don't think you're intending for this to be guarded. Or maybe you do. Anti-nuke placement could be better. I think it would be better off putting it up here. There is an advantage of this being a lot harder to spybot, but it's still possible by spybot's going like this, or like this even. I don't think this is a requirement. If you just have Merles, that would be beneficial. Although this being up is a problem. Okay, you did know that spot, that's good. And one of the things I should mention, if you see starlights like this, where they're mostly facing backwards, redirect them to face forwards, because that's going to help them a lot. At this time, I would also consider putting them on hold fire. They're wasting lots of energy on ticks that don't need to be shot at. This is a shot loaded. Let me see what you actually see. Not firing it is actually a smarter choice. There isn't anything for it to fire at. I think this is a waste. This is a waste of metal, honestly. damage there, but it didn't really seem to be that damaged. This is just the upside of things like pit bulls and pop-up plasma. They do a lot more damage occurs when they're out and shooting. Is there a long-range plasma cannon that I don't see yet? I would consider reclaiming this turret right here, right now. These T1 converters can go. They are a liability after all at this time. I do like the fact that you're trying to go into other directions to do damage, because that's what's really going to happen. I doubt you'll ever be in a position to really push this area. I don't think that's correct initially. And oh dear. Well, that's just sad. Did they see this? Nope, they did not see it. Or at least I don't think so. Nope. But they do know that shield's here. The reason why the Vanguard's not really that correct is because you have other opportunities up here, or even going through this region right here. I doubt you'll ever be in a position to really just have the damage to deal with this area. For the Vanguard placement, I don't think that's correct as well. I think you would be better off putting the Vanguard somewhere up here, if anything, or over here, firing into this. Let me erase real quick. You'll be better off firing into this area. There's a lot of valuable and cheap pork over there, and it's going to be really easy for the Vanguard to pick up. On top of that, because this is on top of a hill, it's a rather defensible position, even if the enemy air player is still in the game. For doing a shot, by the way, you might want to consider just randomly blinking off back players a bit more, just that way their bases aren't as radar door protected. Is that an edge case nuke? That's an edge case nuke. Vanguard, I don't. You designed E-Cup, that's perfectly fine, but yeah, that commander's at this stage of the game, it's this is one of the scary factors about Merles in general is that when they start showing up, they can really do a lot of surprise damage. Having a jammer and just having the commander cloaked at this time is actually quite useful. Even if it's just going to get unit later, that's your commander not being known where it is actually quite valuable. Should be fine. I'm just going to speed up because this is just late game span that's just going to occur. I would recommend getting a few anti-aircraft turrets just in your base area, a few more, just so that way you don't have to worry about surprises. That was nice again. You just need more build power up front with your T2 units. Oh, sorry, with your T3 lab. Vanguards are really nice for a lot of edge cases. While there's a lot of tick spam, they're nice. Vanguards are nice for that. I would recommend either switching to something else that isn't Vanguards. If you need more powerful units. Well, the good news is the bombers did the things that didn't matter. Not really. That's just par for the course at this point, so... I'm just going to be as high as possible and hope that things go from there. Basically, at this point, your concern would be your head on eco compared to your lane's opponent, I think. Yeah, you're quite significant. It's just that it doesn't really matter at this point with Thor's being such an equalizer. That was a lucky Vanguard shot, I think. Or no, that might have been Merle's. Who knows? Next on the field. You just need your team to be doing something different. This is more out of your hands at this point, so... if your opponents are able to do this, that's quite telling. And that should be that. Okay then. Hopefully that helps.